Hey everyone, welcome back to Kicking with Kipes. It's been a couple days since we did a recaps video, but we had Mix It Up Mondays, and then I was at the Flames Leafs game last night, and here we are back for another video. There's only 3 games on the schedule, so let's waste no time and let's recap everything that happened tonight. Our first game happens at Madison Square Garden against the Boston Bruins, where the New York Rangers, they pull off a 3-2 win thanks to a late goal by Chris Kreider, short-handed, to put them over the edge and get them the victory. Mika Zibanejad, he had 2 assists in this game. He's starting to heat up his season at the perfect time as he heads into playing for Sweden at the Four Nations Faceoff in just about a week. Vincent Trocheck, he had a power play goal in this game as well. Artemi Panarin, his goal came during 5-on-5 play, even strength. So the New York Rangers, they got a goal at each stage of the game, power play, even strength, and shorthanded. So every form of Rangers offense was working, and defense because shorthanded, but everything was clicking on all cylinders for the Rangers tonight. Kreider and Vinny Trocheck will be both playing for the United States in a week, and that's kind of crappy because go Canada, go. But at the same time, Zibanejad, like I just said, he will be facing off with Sweden. He has 6 points in the past 3 games. Is that good? Yes. This is 2 wins in a row for the New York Rangers. Both have been comebacks, come from behind wins for the Rangers. So they've had to earn these little victories, but at the same time, it's hard to put yourself in that position and crawl back and do that consistently. So they have to figure out a way to get that early goal and just hold on to that lead, which is funny because they did have the lead in this game. They were up 1-0, and then Boston scored 2 very quick goals in the second period. But then the third period happened for the Boston Bruins. Let's go. David Pastrnak, he's having an absolutely outstanding run of games right now. He scored to extend his point streak to 12 games. He has 11 goals, 14 assists for 25 points in 12 games, sorry. That is just absolutely fantastic. He is a Czech Republic native, so he won't be playing in the Four Nations Faceoff. So when we come back from the Four Nations Faceoff, he's going to even be more rested, just sitting at home watching his friends play in this tournament, and he's just going to have that itch to come back with vengeance for not being able to play in that tournament, and it's just going to be incredible to see what he can do in the second half of the season. The Bruins, they lose in this game, obviously, but they are now 27, 23, and 6. They're still having a pretty good season. They are still not in the playoff picture, so it would be kind of interesting not to see the Bruins in the playoffs, and I'm here and I'm all for it. Elias Lindholm, he's having a kind of a rough start to his Boston Bruins career after signing from free agency from the Canucks and Flames last year, but he is having a rough start, signing a very big ticket for the Bruins. He only has 10 goals on the season. Jonas Korpisalo, he came over from the Ottawa Senators in the offseason. He's having a pretty good first season as a Bruins goaltender, but he gets lost in this one, only making 19 saves. So the Bruins, they lose, and they have to keep trying to get wins here because they are not in the playoffs. And the New York Rangers, they come from behind and win 3-2 at home Wednesday night. Up next, we got the Edmonton Oilers in Chicago, Illinois, taking on the Blackhawks, where the Edmonton Oilers, they kind of had a scary situation. They let 2 goals get scored pretty quickly by the Chicago Blackhawks, but the Oilers, they hold on and win in overtime 4-3. Zachary on the attacker Hyman, he was the game-winning goal scorer in overtime, tipping a shot into the back of net from a pass from Connor McDavid, I think it was. Leon Draisaitl, he continues to just do everything right every game. He gets another goal in this game. Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson were the other goal scorers for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. The only difference being Draisaitl and Skinner, they also added an assist to their tally for the evening. The Oilers, they continue to be absolutely amazing this season. They are 34, 16, and 4, having a fantastic season. They did win 3-2 in overtime against St. Louis the other night, so they are struggling to get these wins in regulation, but they still end up getting the wins nonetheless. It's not a big deal whatsoever, but it would be nice to not have to go into overtime every night either. Yes, it is only 2 games in a row, but at the same time, things can start being a pattern. Calvin Pickard, he was in net for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. He made 29 saves. The Blackhawks, they did keep him pretty busy tonight. Ryan Donato and Teuvo Teravainen were the highlight players for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Donato, he had a goal and an assist in this game, while Teravainen, he had 2 assists. Arvid Soderblom, he was between the pipes for the Chicago Blackhawks in this game. He made 34 saves in the losing effort. The Blackhawks, they were losing 3-1 about halfway or just over halfway into the third period. And then they scored twice within 4 minutes or so from Martinez and Donato. So they did make it an interesting game, but yes, they did lose again. They are not doing good whatsoever this season. The Blackhawks, they dropped to 16, 31, and 6. That is pathetic from any standard for any team, even if you are the Chicago Blackhawks. Jason Dickinson, he did have an awkward fall in this game after he ran into Podzolkin from the Edmonton Oilers. He fell awkwardly and had to leave the game and did not return. So that is a forward option for the Chicago Blackhawks that they cannot afford to lose, even though they are stinking up the joint every night. That is just a player that they cannot afford to lose, or else they'll be even worse. So the Chicago Blackhawks, they lose once again to the Edmonton Oilers in overtime, 4-3. Our third and final game of the evening is the Montreal Canadiens in the city of Los Angeles taking on the Kings, where the Kings, they beat the Habs 6-3. Several players for the Kings had very good games individually for themselves in this game. Kevin Fiala, he scored twice alone in the third period. Quentin Byfield, he had 3 assists in this game. Vladislav Gavrikov, very fun name to say, he had a goal and an assist in this game as well. And Warren Foegele, he got he did take a shot, but he got a goal on that shot, on a penalty shot in the game, and also added an assist. So those 4 players had very good games for the squad. This was the second win in a row for the LA Kings after losing 4 in a row, so this is just what they needed to get right back on track in their season and maintain that third spot in the division before Calgary could sneak up on them, before Vancouver could sneak up on them. How fun would it be if those 2 Canadian teams could sneak up and take those 2 spots? I think it would be a lot of fun to see all possible Canadian teams in the playoffs. The Kings, they are now 28, 17, and 6. They're having a pretty good season, not as good of a season as you would expect them to have, but they are maintaining that position in the division. So you got to give credit where it's due, and they are just status quo is the word I would use right now. They are just floating on throughout the season, maintaining that pretty good season. Darcy Kemper was in net for the Kings tonight. He made 18 saves in the win tonight. This was a back-to-back game for the Montreal Canadiens. They beat the San Jose Sharks last night, and they lose tonight 6-3. But Mike Matheson, Alexander Carrier, and Logan Mailloux were the 3 goal scorers for the Habs tonight. The Habs, they dropped to 25, 24, and 5. They have lost 6 of 7 right now. They're 1-5-1 in that span, and that is horrible for them right now because they desperately need to get into the playoffs. They don't need to get into the playoffs, but for Habs and their fans, they desperately need to get into the playoffs. And if they don't start winning a couple games, their season's going to be done and dusted because there are so many teams fighting for the playoffs right now that if you pull this kind of stunt in the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference right now, your season is so screwed. Jakub Dobiš, he was in net tonight. He made 31 saves in the losing effort. The Habs, they did make it a close game in the third period when Logan Mailloux, he got a goal at 13 and a half minutes into the third period, but Fiala, he scored his second goal to put it at 5-3, and then Trevor Moore, he just took the game and put the nail in the coffin in the back of the net with about 2.5 minutes-ish left in the third period for the win. So the Kings, they take control of the game late in the third period and put a stranglehold on the Montreal Canadiens, winning 6-3 at home. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. We got only a couple days till we are off for the Four Nations Face-Off. I'll be doing live streams. I'll be doing recap videos for that. So if you're interested in that, tell your friends that we'll be doing it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be like a little hangout session for 2.5, 3 hours while we watch the game together. And I hope that you join me there. And we will see you tomorrow night. We have more recaps to do. There's 9 games on the schedule, so we will see you then. Have a great night. Take care. Thank you so much again.